I am Ashok Kumar Aggarwal, Academic Counselor, IGNOU. Today we are going to study MMPC 16 International Business Management. How you see one country trade with another country. How one country does the trade with another country. Suppose you see in our country we are manufacturing, you see, cotton shirts, and USA, you see, they are not having, you see, much of cotton, so we are exporting, you see, cotton shirts there. Now block 1 we are going to study introduction to international business. Unit 1, dynamics of international business. Just now we saw one example, you see, exporting shirts from India to USA, cotton shirts. There are so many other items, you see, the items which are manufactured in our country in abundance, you see, we are exporting those items, and the items, you see, which we are short of, you see, those few items, you know, we are importing those, you see, items, and by this, you see, by exporting we earn, you see, foreign currency also, we earn foreign exchange. Now international business, just now we you see talked about international business, selling goods, you see, from one country to another. Say for example in Taiwan, you see, this shoe soles, you see, are made. So in our India, you see, there are so many shoe companies, you know, they will import soles from Taiwan, and top portion they manufacture of leather, they manufacture here only. So it comes out to be cheaper for them rather than manufacturing the sole here. So international business is an integral part of the global economy, enabling trade. You see, we can do trade. Trade can be done from between the countries. Investment, you see, one country invests money in another country, and economic integration. There is development of the economy among nations. Though international business as a formal discipline is relatively recent, trade across borders has existed, you see, since ancient times. You see, long back trade is going, you see, since long between, you see, one nation and another nation. Countries engage in international trade because of differences in resource endowments, you see, economic development and technological capabilities. You see, just now we saw, if suppose any particular item is, you see, available here, and compared to the consumption, still we are having excess, you see, that is manufactured excess than the consumption. So we can very easily export that item to other countries where it is, you see, manufactured less. Similarly, if any item we are needing from abroad, which we are, you see, unable to manufacture here, or the short, you see, we are manufacturing short compared to the, you see, use, so we are doing export of those, you see, items. So countries engage in international trade because of differences in resource endowments, economic development and technological, you see, capabilities. Historically, international business began as barter trade. Barter trade means exchange of goods. Suppose, you see, in olden days somebody is having, you see, wheat and he needs rice, and the other person, he is having, you see, rice and he is needing wheat. So they used to exchange. But now the problem is in barter system, suppose you are having excess of, you see, wheat and you are needing rice, and the person who is having excess of rice, he doesn't want wheat, then how you will exchange with him? You will not be in a position to exchange with him. So then this system, you see, failed. So historically, international business began as a barter trade and evolved into a structured, you see, system with the rise of modern nation states and economic, you see, policies promoting free trade. Today over 90% of, you see, world trade is conducted by private firms, unlike ancient trade, which, you see, was more communal. Globalization has further strengthened, you see, international business, eliminating, you see, barriers and encouraging the integration of markets, the liberalization of economies, deregulation and privatization have contributed significantly to the expansion of foreign direct investment. If suppose there are rules and regulations are such that you can easily import, you can easily export, you can invest in foreign countries, then this business will increase. If some rules are very hard, then you will not be in a position to do it. So that is what in our country also, in our during Dr. Manmohan Singh's when he was finance minister, during that time these policies were made, they were relaxed, that is why so many people started doing exports, and by that we earned foreign exchange, dollars, we earned dollars, our balance of payment, balance of payment means exports minus imports. If suppose our exports are more, it is very good for our country because we will always have foreign currency. This has led to increased competition among multinational corporations, MNCs, necessitating strategic market coordination at a global level. Now how this trade takes place? Suppose locally in India you are you have sold some goods to a trader in Bombay. What you will do, you will send them by railways, then you will get railway receipt, they will give you. You will send them by lorry receipt, that lorry person will give you lorry receipt. Now these lorry receipt, then your bill, all these things, you will go to your banker and give him those, and you will tell him that you collect this money on our behalf. Now that banker, he will send all the documents to the banker of the Bombay person, buyer, Bombay. So that banker will intimate to the buyer that your bills have come, your railway receipt or transport lorry receipt have come, you deposit money and you take this, and then you ultimately you take the goods from the transporter or railway authorities. So after receiving the money, that banker of the buyer will send that money to the banker of the seller, and that bank in turn will credit the account of his customer. That is how trade takes place in our country. Same way, if suppose you are exporting, some say 10,000 shirts you are exported to a buyer in USA. Now you will ship the goods, you will give all these documents to your banker in India. That banker will send to the buyer's bank in America. Then buyer's bank will give the delivery of the documents after receiving the money, and in turn that buyer's bank will send the money to the banker of the exporter, and that bank will credit the amount to the exporter's account. Same way trade is done. Now when the trade is between different people who are from different countries, now how the seller will get the assurance that I will get the money. Suppose he has shipped the goods, and now how he will get the assurance. Now for that bank issues letter of credit. What this letter of credit says, the buyer's bank will issue a letter of credit in favor of the seller, that if the order is, if you meet out the order as per the requirement, everything is perfect, we take the guarantee of the payment from the importer. If importer does not pay, we will pay. So this is what is letter of credit. So when this letter of credit is received by the exporter, now fine, it is, he will start manufacturing the goods as per the order of the buyer, and he will ship them. And if he is needing the finance, he can go to his banker wherever he is having account. So they will give him pre-shipment credit, they will give him post-shipment credit also. And the moment the money is received from the foreign country, so that money is recovered from the exporter's bank. So that is how it is done. Pre-shipment means before the shipment is made, whatever money the exporter is needing, say he will need the money for labor payment, he will need the money for, you see, this raw material, buying raw material. There are so many other overheads, there are so many other expenses. So for all those he will be needing the money. Now we come on the next, you see, domestic versus international business. You see, while the basic principles of business operations remain the same, just now we discussed how it is done. International business differs significantly from domestic business due to external factors such as, you see, cultural variations, economic conditions, legal, you see, regulations, and currency exchange fluctuations. You see, currency exchange fluctuations. Suppose today, you see, you have exported 10,000 shirts. So the price, say for example, one shirt is of, you say, $10. So there are $1 lakh which you are going to, you see, receive from the, you see, importer. Now today the dollar rate is, you see, some amount, and when you will receive the payment, the rate may be, you see, different. Dollar exchange rate will be. So that is why exchange, you see, fluctuations take place. Now we come on the next, you see, cultural diversity. International firms must adopt to different cultural norms, values, and business etiquettes. A failure to understand cultural sensitivities can lead to business, you see, failures. That is Nix Arabic logo controversy in, you see, Saudi Arabia. That is the example they have given. So cultural diversity, international firms must adopt to different cultural norms, values, and business etiquettes. A failure to understand cultural sensitivities can lead to business failures. Example is, you see, Nix Arabic logo controversy in Saudi Arabia. Then government policies and exchange rates. Business, you see, face challenges due to different taxation systems, government regulations, and currency exchange risks. So government policies and exchange rates, businesses face challenges due to different, you see, taxation systems, government regulations, and currency exchange risks. Legal environment, laws related to business ownership, intellectual property rights, and trade agreements vary across countries, making, you see, compliance essential. So legal environment, laws related to business ownership, intellectual property rights, and trade agreements vary across countries, making compliance essential. Consumer preferences, product adaptations may be necessary based on local tastes, religious sentiments, and dietary habits. That is McDonald's, you see, menu modifications in our country. So consumer preferences, you see, product adaptations may be necessary based on, you see, local taste, religious sentiments, and dietary habits. That is McDonald's menu modification in our country. Resource availability, differences in raw material availability, labor skills, and infrastructure impact production and logistics, you see, strategies. Market complexity, international markets are fragmented with diverse, you see, income levels, spending habits, and regulatory, you see, constraints. International business is crucial for the growth, stability, and, you see, interconnectedness of economies worldwide. It not only enables the exchange of goods and services, but also fosters technological progress, economic development, and cultural integration. So international business is crucial for the growth, stability, and interconnectedness of economies worldwide. It not only enables the exchange of goods and services, but also fosters technological, you see, progress, economic development, and cultural integration. Economic growth and development, one of the most significant contribution of international business is its ability to, you see, drive economic growth. As business expand across borders, they create new investment opportunities, increase gross domestic product, and contribute to the overall prosperity of the countries. So, one of the most significant contribution of international business is its ability to drive economic growth. As business expand across borders, they create new investment opportunities, increase gross domestic product, and contribute to the overall prosperity of nations. Technology transfer and, you see, innovation. International business accelerates the spread of advanced technologies, innovations, and research across countries. This results in enhanced, you see, productivity, new product developments, and improved industrial processes. So, international business accelerates the spread of advanced technologies, innovations, and research across countries. This results in enhanced, you see, productivity, new product development, and improved industrial, you see, processes. Competitive, you see, market environment. International business promotes healthy competition by exposing domestic companies to global players. This pushes local businesses to innovate, improve quality, and reduce costs. So, international business promotes healthy competition by exposing domestic companies to global players. This pushes, you see, local business to innovate, improve quality, and reduce costs. Improvement in living standards, yes, very important. You see, international business raises the standard of living by making high quality goods and services accessible at lower prices. It also generates employment and raises, you see, consumer purchasing power. So, international business raises the standard of living by making high quality goods and services accessible at lower prices. It also, you see, creates employment and raises consumer purchasing power. Job creation and employment opportunities. You see, international business creates millions of jobs worldwide by exporting, you see, industries, outsourcing services, and establishing foreign, you see, subsidiaries. So, international business creates millions of jobs worldwide by expanding industries, outsourcing services, and establishing foreign subsidiaries. You see, global supply chain development. You see, international business enables the formation of complex, efficient, and interconnected, you see, supply chains across the world. Supply chain management, you see. So, international business enables the formation of complex, efficient, and interconnected supply chains across the world. Foreign direct investment and capital flow. You see, foreign direct investment, FDI, brings financial resources, infrastructure, you see, and employment to host countries. You see, developing nations in particular rely on foreign direct investment for economic progress. So, foreign direct investment brings financial resources, infrastructure, and employment to host countries. Developing nations in particular rely on foreign direct investment for economic, you see, progress. Now, so many people from abroad, they invest in our share market. You see, they buy shares of, you see, good companies. You see, say Reliance. Regional and global trade integration. You see, international business fosters economic integration through trade agreements, you see, and partnerships. There are trade agreements and partnerships are, you see, there. So, international business fosters economic integration through, you see, trade agreements and partnerships. You must have seen in, you see, TV, whenever or any, say, foreign minister will go, then there are so many, he does so many trade agreements with different, you see, countries, foreign ministers. Next, standard standardization and regulatory improvements. International business, you see, encourages global standards in product quality, safety and ethical practices. So, international business encourages global standards in product quality, safety and ethical practices. Cultural exchange and international, you see, cooperation. Beyond economies, international business fosters cultural understanding and global collaboration. People across nations interact, share ideas and embrace diverse, you see, traditions. So, beyond economics, international business fosters cultural understanding and global collaboration. People across nations interact, share ideas and embrace, you see, diverse traditions. Market expansion, firms can assess new customer bases, increasing sales and profitability. Specialization and efficiencies, countries focus on producing goods they excel in, you see, where their specialization is there, you see, leading to better, you see, resource utilization. So, market expansion, firms can assess new customer bases, you see, increasing sales and profitability. You see, naturally, if you will do exports, your sales will increase. You see, wherever the demand is there of your product, you can enter those markets, sell your goods. And naturally, when sales are increasing, profit will automatically increase. Our country will get, you see, foreign exchange, we will get dollars. So, specialization and efficiencies, countries focus on producing goods they excel in, leading to better, you see, resource utilization. Foreign exchange earnings, exporting goods helps countries earn foreign currency, stabilizing their economy. You see, this is another, you see, advantage. Economic growth, nations benefit from increased trade revenues, foreign investments and industrial, you see, expansion. So, foreign exchange earnings, you see, exporting goods helps countries earn foreign currency, stabilizing their, you see, economy. Economic growth, nations benefit from increased trade revenues, foreign investments and industrial expansion. Next is employment generation, you see. Establishing foreign operations create jobs both locally and internationally. You see, naturally, if you have expanded your business, you are doing exports, you will have to increase the production, you will have to employ more labor force, you see. Similarly, you have to open a representative office in the foreign country. There also you will, you see, send your people, you will employ some, you see, staff there. So, establishing foreign operations creates jobs both in the country and abroad. Price stabilization, you see, trade allows countries to manage surplus and shortage effectively, preventing extreme price fluctuations. You see, naturally, you see, if suppose you see, you are able to export the surplus, whatever, you see, surplus is there in our country and our businesses, they can, you see, export those. So, here in our country, you see, price will not, you see, increase. They have, you see, supplied goods, they are to, you see, as per the consumption in the country, they have supplied, the producers, the manufacturers, and excess they are doing, you see, they are exporting. So, they are also, they are making money. If suppose they don't supply to their country and they do export, then the naturally prices will increase in our country. Otherwise, you see, now, so price stabilization, trade allows countries to manage surplus, you see, and shortages effectively, preventing extreme price fluctuations. Increased productivity, exposure to international markets drives firms to adopt, you see, innovative, productive, you see, techniques. So, employment generation, establishing foreign operations creates jobs both locally and internationally. establishing foreign operations creates jobs both locally and internationally. Price stabilization, trade allows countries to manage supply, manage surplus and shortages, you see, effectively, preventing extreme price fluctuations. Increased productivity, exposure to international markets drives firms to adopt innovative, you see, production techniques. Geographical distance and transportation, you see, cost. Shipping goods over long distances, you see, increases costs and delays. Time zone differences, you see, businesses must coordinate across different time zones, you see, complicating communication and operations. See, whatever time is here, USA time will be different. So, geographical distance and transportation costs, shipping goods over long distances increases costs and delays. Time zone difference, businesses must coordinate across different time zones, complicating, you see, communication and operations. Cultural barriers, differences in language, customs and traditions can lead to misunderstandings. Legal and political risks, businesses must navigate different legal frameworks, trade restrictions and political, you see, instability. This they have to take care. So, cultural barrier, what are the challenges? Challenges in international business are, you see, cultural barriers. We have seen the challenges, you see, geographical distance and transportation costs, time zone differences, now cultural barriers and legal and political risks. So, cultural barriers, difference is in language, customs and traditions can lead to misunderstandings. Legal and political risks, businesses must navigate different, you see, legal frameworks, trade restrictions and political instability. Next challenge is currency exchange risks. Fluctuations in exchange rates can impact profitability and financial stability, you see. Next is tariffs and trade barriers. Governments impose duties, quotas and import restrictions affecting trade, you see, volume. So, currency exchange risks, fluctuations in exchange rates can impact profitability and financial stability. Tariffs and trade barriers, governments impose duties, quotas and import restrictions affecting, you see, trade volumes. Supply chain complexities, global operations require efficient logistics management and compliance with the local, you see, regulations. So, global operations require efficient logistics management and compliance with local regulations, rules and regulations. Why do firms go international? Why do the firms, they sell their goods, you see, abroad? One reason is market expansion. Companies enter foreign markets to increase their customer base and revenue streams. Naturally, when customers will increase, profit will, you see, revenue will come, more revenue will come. Overcome trade barriers, you see, setting up production facilities in foreign countries helps firms to avoid, you see, import tariffs and quotas, you see. So, why do firms go international? The first reason is market expansion. Companies enter foreign markets to increase their customer base and revenue streams. Now, you see, why banks open branches abroad? Same way, to increase the customer base, you see. Overcome trade barriers, setting up production facilities in foreign countries helps firms avoid, you see, import tariffs and quotas. Next reason is access to resources. Some countries offer better raw materials, skilled labor or lower production costs. Economies of scale, expanding globally allows firms to reduce costs by increasing production volumes. Competitive pressure, you see, firms allow their competitors into international markets to maintain, you see, market share, to maintain market share. So other reasons are access to resources. Some countries offer better raw materials, skilled labor, or lower production costs. Economies of scale. Expanding globally allows firms to reduce costs by increasing, you see, production volumes. Competitive pressure. Firms follow their competitors into international markets to maintain, you see, market share. Government incentives. Many countries offer, you see, tax breaks, subsidies, and investment incentives to attract, you see, foreign businesses. Risk diversification. Expanding globally reduces reliance on a single, you see, market and minimizes, you see, financial risk. So government incentives. Many countries often offer, you see, tax breaks, subsidies, and investment incentives to attract, you see, foreign businesses. Even if you do exports from our country, you see, government gives incentives, you see. Risk, because you are earning foreign exchange is coming to our country, dollars are coming to our country. Risk diversification. Expanding globally reduces reliance on a single market and minimizes financial risk. Suppose you are not doing well in one country, you are doing well in another country. Methods of entering international markets. You see, companies use a variety of strategies to establish their presence in foreign markets. These methods differ in terms of investment level, risk exposure, operational control, and expected returns. The choice of strategy depends on several factors, including the company's financial strength, market knowledge, risk tolerance, and long-term objectives. So companies use a variety of strategies to establish their presence in foreign markets. These methods differ in terms of investment level, risk exposure, operational control, and expected returns. The choice of strategy depends on several factors, including the company's financial strength, market knowledge, risk tolerance, and long-term objectives. Exporting. Exporting is the simplest and most common method of entering a foreign market. It involves selling domestically produced goods or services to buyers in another country. So what is export? Selling goods produced domestically to buyers in another country. This strategy allows businesses to expand their reach without making significant investment in business operations, because their factory is already set up, only the production they are increasing, you see. So exporting is the simplest and most common method of entering a foreign market. It involves, you see, selling domestically produced goods or services to buyers in another country. This strategy allows businesses to expand their reach without making significant investment in foreign, you see, operations. Because now suppose you are increasing the production because you want to do export, so your fixed costs will remain same, only variable costs like raw material, labor payment, they will increase. So exporting is the simplest and most common method of entering a foreign market. Now we come on the next, that is types of exporting. Direct exporting. The company sells its product directly to customers, distributors, or retailers in a foreign market. Suppose you are selling to a trader who is, you see, who is in America. So this is, you see, directly, you are directly exporting. It requires an in-house export department or partnerships with international trade intermediaries. So direct exporting means the company sells its products directly to customers, distributors, or retailers in foreign markets. It requires an in-house export department or partnerships with international trade, you see, intermediaries. Next is indirect exporting. The company sells its goods through third party, you see, agents or intermediaries who manage, you see, logistics, distribution and market entry on behalf of the exporter. You can say through agent if you are selling through agent, you see. So indirect exporting means the company sells its goods through third party agents or intermediaries who manages, you see, logistics, they are managing logistics, they are managing distribution and market entry on behalf of the exporters. Next is licensing. Licensing is a contractual agreement where one country, you see, licensor grants another company licensee the right to use its intellectual property, brand name, patents, technology or trademarks in exchange for a royalty or fee, you see. So what do you mean by licensing? Licensing is a contractual agreement where one company known as licensor grants another company known as licensee the right to use its intellectual, you see, property, brand name, patents, technology or trademarks in exchange for a royalty or fee. They will charge some money. Next is, you see, franchising. Franchising is a specialization form of licensing in which the franchisor provides the entire business model, brand names and operational structure to the franchisee in exchange for fees and royalties. This method is widely, you see, used in food, retail and hospitality, you see, industries. Like we see, we are having a franchisee, say McDonald, you see. So franchising is a specialized form of licensing in which the franchisor provides the entire business model, brand name and operational structure to the franchisee in exchange for fees, you see, and royalties, you see. This method is widely used in food industries, it is used in retail industries, it is used in hospitality industries. Next is, you see, joint venture, JV, we write it in short in JV. Those who have studied accounts must be knowing about joint ventures. Say a joint venture occurs when two or more companies collaborate to form a new business entity, you see, in a foreign country. It allows companies to share resources, expertise and risks while entering the new markets. So what do you mean by joint venture? A joint venture occurs when two or more companies collaborate to form a new business entity in a foreign country. It allows companies to share resources, expertise and risks while entering new markets. Next is, you see, foreign direct investment, FDI, you see, wholly owned subsidiaries and acquisitions. FDI is the most committed and resource intensive model of international expansion. A company establishes a wholly owned subsidiary or acquires an existing firm in the foreign market. So foreign direct investment, FDI, wholly owned subsidiaries and acquisitions. FDI is the most, you see, committed and resource intensive model of international expansion. A company establishes a wholly owned subsidiary or acquires an existing firm in the foreign market. The role of proactive versus reactive firms. Firms approach international business with different mindsets. Proactive firms actively seek global opportunities, innovative and invest in strategic expansion. Reactive firms enters international markets only in response to competition or economic pressure. So proactive firms actively seek global opportunities, innovate and invest in strategic expansion. Reactive firms enter international market only in response to competition or economic pressure. International business plays a crucial role in the global economy driven by economic interdependence, technological advancements and market competition, while offering numerous benefits such as market expansion, economic growth and job creation. It also presents challenges like political risks, cultural barriers and financial uncertainties. So international business plays a crucial role in the global economy driven by economic interdependence, technological advancements and market competition, while offering numerous benefits such as market expansion, economic growth and job creation. It also presents challenges like political risks, cultural barriers and financial uncertainties. Firms go international for various reasons we have seen, including access to new markets, cost advantage and competitive pressure. Just now we saw the example of manufacturing soles in Taiwan. See, they are available very cheap compared to our country India. So there are so many shoe manufacturers, they buy soles from Taiwan. They prepare the top leather, top portion of the shoe of leather in our country, and they are selling those shoes. So it comes out to be economical for them. So firms go international for various reasons, including access to new markets, cost advantages and competitive pressures. They adopt different entry strategies based on its investment preferences, risk tolerance and market potential. The sources of international business depends on strategic planning, cultural adaptability and effective risk management. As globalization continues, companies must continuously evolve to remain competitive in the dynamic international marketplace. So the success of international business depends on strategic planning, cultural adaptability and effective risk management. As globalization continues, companies must continuously evolve to remain competitive in the dynamic international marketplace. Now we come on the next unit, unit 2, globalization and evolving paradigm. Globalization is a multifaceted process that involves the integration of markets, economies and cultural across the world. It is not limited to trade and business but extends to political, technological and cultural dimensions. So globalization is a multifaceted process that involves the integration of markets, economies and cultures across the world. It is not limited to trade and business but extends to political, technological and cultural dimensions. The term globalization is often confused with internationalization, but the two differ significantly. While internationalization refers to the expansion of businesses and economies beyond national borders, globalization is a broader concept that integrates economies, industries and societies at a global scale. So the term globalization is often confused with internationalization, but the two differ significantly. While internationalization refers to the expansion of businesses and economies beyond national borders, globalization is a broader concept that integrates economies, industries and societies at a global scale. Over time, globalization has led to greater economic interdependence. While countries rely on each other for resources, trade and investment, this interdependence has increased economic growth, market expansion and technological progress. So over time, globalization has led to greater economic interdependence where countries rely on each other for resources, trade and investment. This interdependence has increased economic growth, market expansion and technological progress. However, globalization is not uniformly beneficial. While some nations and industries thrive, others face economic disadvantages, increased competition and trade dependencies. In some cases, powerful economies dominate trade regulations, dictating terms to smaller or developing nations. So, however, globalization is not uniformly beneficial. While some nations and industries thrive, others face economic disadvantages, increased competition and trade dependencies. In some cases, powerful economies dominate trade regulations, dictating terms to smaller or developing nations. In recent years, anti-globalization sentiments have emerged, particularly due to economic inequalities, trade imbalances and geopolitical tensions. The COVID-19 pandemic further disrupted global supply chains, leading some countries to adopt self-reliance strategies. In recent years, anti-globalization sentiments have emerged, particularly due to economic inequalities, trade imbalances and geopolitical tensions. The COVID-19 pandemic further disrupted global supply chains, leading some countries to adopt self-reliance strategies. Advancements in technology, that is internet, telecommunications, e-commerce, trade liberalization, that is reduction in tariffs, free trade agreements, risk multinational corporations, MNCs and global markets. So, key developments leading to globalization are advancements in technology, that is internet, technology, telecommunications, e-commerce, these are the three. There is advancements in technology, then trade liberation, that is reduction in tariffs, free trade agreements, then rise of multinational corporations, MNCs and global markets. So many MNCs have come in our country, in Gurgaon, Gurgaon, Noida, Ghaziabad, so many people, they get jobs there, This is only because foreign companies are coming and opening offices in our country. They find it profitable, that is why they are opening. Ease of transportation, that is air, cargo, container shipping, then growth of international finance, that is stock markets, global investments, then integration of cultural trends, that is global music, movies, fashion, lifestyles. So key developments leading to globalization are ease of transportation, that is air, cargo, container shipping, growth of international finance, that is stock markets, global investments. The next is integration of cultural trends, that is global music, movies, fashion, lifestyles. Globalization can be defined as the process of increasing economic, social, technological, political and cultural integration among countries. It involves the unrestricted movement of goods, capital, ideas and to some extent people across national boundaries. So, globalization can be defined as the process of increasing economic, social, technological, political and cultural integration among countries. It involves the unrestricted movement of goods, capital, ideas and to some extent people across national boundaries. Now, according to UNESCO, globalization is a set of economic, social, technological, political and cultural structures and process arising from the changing character of production, consumption and trade of goods and assets that form the base of the international political economy. So, according to UNESCO, globalization is a set of economic, social, technological, political and cultural structures and processes arising from the changing character of production, consumption and trade of goods and assets that form the base of the international political economy. Economic globalization is free trade, multinational business, global finance Then technological globalization is internet, digital transformation, and artificial intelligence. So economic globalization is means free trade, multinational businesses, and global finance. And technological globalization is, you see, internet, digital transformation, and artificial intelligence. Next is political globalization, governance, you see, international treaties, United Nations, you see, involvement. Then cultural globalization, spread of languages, arts, films, and food habits. Psychological globalization, increasing interdependence of global communities. So globalization has various dimensions. The first is political globalization. Governance, international treaties, United Nations involvement. Then cultural globalization, spread of languages, arts, you see, films, and food habits. Psychological globalization, increasing interdependence of, you see, global communities. Globalization is not a recent phenomena. It has evolved over several countries, over several centuries. The process of globalization integration can be traced back to ancient trade routes, colonial, you see, expansions, and the industrial revolutions. So globalization is not a recent phenomena. It has evolved over several centuries. The process of global integration can be, you see, traced back to ancient trade routes, colonial expansions, and industrial, you see, revolutions. Strategies of globalization: first stage 1830 to 1880, the rise of manufacturing, expansion of trade via railroads and ocean transport. Second stage 1990 to 1930s, you see, the emergence of multinational enterprises, MNEs, increased steel and electricity, you see, production. So stages of globalization are: first stage is 1830 to 1880, the rise of manufacturing, expansion of trade, expansion of trade via railroads and ocean transport. Second stage 1900 to 1930s, the emergence of multinational enterprises, MNEs, increased steel and electricity production. Third stage 1948 to 1970s, post you see, World War II, economic growth, creation of GATT, General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, establishment of international financial institutions, International Monetary Fund, World Bank. So third stage is from 1948 to 1970s, you see, post World War II, economic growth, creation of GATT means General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, establishment of international financial, you see, institutions, that is International Monetary Fund, World Bank was also set up, you see. Fourth stage is 1980 to 2008, rise of digital economy, e-commerce, and deregulation of, you see, trade barriers. Fifth stage is 2008 to present, you see, industrial revolution 4.0, artificial intelligence, automation, algorithm driven, you see, economies. So fourth stage of globalization is 1980 to 2008, rise of global economy, e-commerce, and degree of, you see, trade, deregulation of trade barriers. Fifth stage is from 2008 to present, industrial revolution, that is 4.0, artificial intelligence, automation, algorithm driven, you see, economies. Then next is industrial revolution, 18th to 19th century, mechanization, increased production and global, you see, trade. Colonization, 16th to 20th century, European powers, you see, expanded economies through imperial trade. Then post World War II global order, you see, formation of Bretton Woods system, WTO, and multinational treaties for economic cooperation, modern digital revolution, internet driven markets, artificial intelligence based supply chains, automated industries. Then trade wars, you see US China economic rivalry, you see impacting global supply chains, COVID-19 disruptions, countries adopting self-reliance strategies to reduce, you see, external dependence, gated globalization, shift toward controlled trade policies and selective market, you see, integration. So recent shifts in globalization trends are, you see, trade wars, United States China economic rivalry impacting global supply chains, COVID-19 disruptions, you see, countries adopting self-reliance strategies to reduce external dependencies, you see, gated globalization, shift toward controlled trade policies and selective market, you see, integration. Re-globalization, emergence of alternative, you see, markets, that is Vietnam, India, Brazil, to counter China's trade dominance. China plus one strategy, countries diversifying investments beyond, you see, China due to rising production costs and geographical, you see, concerns. So re-globalization, emergence of alternative, you see, markets, that is Vietnam, India, Brazil, to counter China's trade dominance. China plus one strategy, countries diversifying investment beyond China to rising production costs and geopolitical concerns. Increase positive effect of globalization is increased economic growth, boost in trade, investment and employment opportunities, technological advancements, spread of innovations, artificial intelligence, automation and global, you see, connectivity. Then positive effects are, you see, cultural exchange, exposure to diverse traditions, language and global lifestyles, higher living standards, availability of high quality goods and services at competitive prices, integration of, you see, financial markets, capital flow across borders, enhances global investments. Negative effects of globalization are, you see, income inequality, wealth concentration is in developed nations, increasing economic disparities, environmental impact, overconsumption of resources, climate changes, you see, pollution, economic dependency, you see, countries relying too much on international trade may suffer during global, you see, crisis, loss of cultural identity, westernization overshadowing traditional, you see, customs in developing countries. Market drivers, you see, convergence of consumer preferences, global demand for standardized products. Cost drivers, companies seeking cost effective production, cheaper labor and supply chain, you see, efficiencies. Government drivers, you see, trade policies, reduction of tariffs, incentives for foreign direct investment. Competitive drivers, global competition, multinational collaborations, industry, you see, partnerships. Key strategies adjustments are, as industries globalize, businesses must adapt their strategies to remain competitive. International alliance, mergers, acquisitions and joint ventures to strengthen market presence, organizational adaptivity, restructuring business models to align with, you see, global trends. Key strategic adjustments are government relations, compliance with international trade laws and regulations, competitive trade strategies, leveraging technology, innovation and marketing for global, you see, reach. Globalization is a dynamic and complex process with far-reaching implications on trade, business and society. While it brings economic prosperity and innovation, it also creates inequalities, trade dependence and environmental challenges. The future of globalization will be shaped by technology, political policies and, you see, consumer behavior. So globalization is a dynamic and complex process with far reaching implications on trade, business and society. While it brings economic prosperity and innovation, it also creates inequalities, trade dependencies and environmental challenges. The future of globalization will be shaped by technology, political policies and consumer behavior. So